Alexa, no. Hello, I'm live. It is a rambling hour with Lisa, and you're live with me. So let me bring this in a little bit. It is another Sunday, and it is, well, yesterday was technically the first day of spring, although I always think that the 21st is the first day, but it depends on the equinox. So it is officially spring now. I'm not letting my hair down because it's spring. Woo, let's party. I'm letting my hair down because it is still wet from showering and it's just bugging me. And as you can see, I need to do my roots as well, but I've been lazy. So, what is new with everybody this week? What have you been up to? I'm still working out. I can't remember what day it is this week. I mean, today it's like, I think it's day 226 or something like that for working out. I think something like that. And, you know, muscles are getting bigger. I'm really trying to work on my arms and doing the push-ups and stuff. You guys might have saw my video from the push-up the other day. And I am live right now, right? Yes, I believe I am. I just don't know if, oh yes, okay, I see. Yes, so live. What am I talking about? I wish I had a timer on here, like how long you've been live for, because then I would know when. Yes, so I did a little bit of a spring. I do have the Easter and spring ornaments out, but I didn't really have any much over here. But I threw a few here just for a bit of a background. I mean, I have a few weeks that it is spring, and even a few weeks till Easter, so I can do a different background with them in the next few weeks. That is a painting that Steve did of a cottage. He did that painting a few years ago and it hangs there. And the globe behind the bunny was a gift from me to Steve a few years ago as well for Christmas or his birthday. I never remember because his birthday is right after Christmas in January. And behind my head is one of our wedding pictures. Actually, I love this frame and I love this photo, and I don't want to get the light on it. There, that's actually really good. I can take a screenshot of this and then flip it so that the writing looks good. So let me, it says, happiness is being married to your best friend. And that's the whole fam. The whole fam, me and Steve and all our 6 little ones. Although they're always getting bigger. So that is sitting over there for now. And let me just turn back. Yeah, I am not sure what we're going to be talking about today, but oh, I brought in these daffodils from the garden just for a bit, again, a bit more of an autumn spring display. Okay, this is bugging me now because it's behind my head though. Oops, sorry, ducky. Oops, sorry, ducky. I'm just, this is what I do to get ready. I'm really clumsy, so you wouldn't, unless you really knew me, you wouldn't know that I was as clumsy. Well, I've said that to Steve and others as well. One of the reasons I'm so good at cleaning is because I'm so messy. So when you make messes because you're clumsy, you need to learn to clean them up. So what is new with you guys? Sunday, March 21st, it's always somebody's birthday, and you'll hear the squeaking in the background. That's just the gerbils going on their wheel. I know that my sister had some errands to do with my auntie today, so she wasn't going to be on, and I'm not sure about my mom, but I don't have a guest this week, and that's okay, because I will talk about whatever you guys want to talk about. Just put a comment in the bottom, and I will, we can talk about anything. Let me talk about my week. What have I done this week? Well, I've been getting out in the garden more, and with it being spring, I've been in the greenhouse, but I haven't planted very many seeds. I planted the gem corn, which I grew last year, which I'm really excited about, so I'm going to try and do actually even more of it this year, and that'll be my baby. But as I've said before, I don't want to plant too many seeds and too many things this year. I'm trying not to buy new plants and stuff either, because I'm really trying to focus on what I have and make each area of the garden look its best and concentrate on those plants and making them the best this year. So I'm trying not to bring too much new into the garden and just working with what I have. So there's gem corn that I planted, and I planted spaghetti squash because that's important. So I did tell you guys that I was going to do that, and I did do that. I did start a few other seeds. I wanted to grow some. I don't need very much of it because it'll spread over the years, and I'm probably going to keep it in a pot anyways, but I like it for the color of it in autumn, and I could use it for drying out and stuff. But the Chinese lantern, so I started some of that, and what's the other one? It's a nice kind of helenium, like a sneezeweed. I can't remember what it's called now. Something sunshine, I think. It's just got like the middle part, and then the petals are really small around the edge, so it's really cute. And then there's one more thing that I started seeds of. It starts with the C, but I don't even know what kind of plant it is or what, so we'll see how that grows. I can just put in the comments the envelopes from the seed packets, and then you'll see what I've been starting. Other than that, I'm starting my calla lilies, dahlias. Some of the dahlias are in pots, so they'll start, but I had to dig out I should have done it in the autumn, but luckily a lot of them survived. I think where we did the raised bed in the middle where it's not full of dirt yet, it made like a microclimate, so my dahlias and my gladiola bulbs didn't rot when I didn't dig them up. So I dug them up now though, because I need to fill that in. Now that we built it up last year, I need to fill it in with soil, but I can't put any soil in it until I dug those up. So I've dug all those up, and I have them in the greenhouse just sitting waiting. I don't know if I want to put them in pots or if I want to put them back into that bed after I fill it with dirt. So I will do that. I've been going through my compost bins and sifting the compost, so anything that's not decomposed yet I just put back in, and the decomposed stuff, the nice, we call it like black gold, is great nutrition for the flower beds and stuff. And but actually what I'm doing, the stuff that's not composted yet, because I have the big raised bed to fill, I'm taking the black gold and using it for flower beds and stuff, but I'm putting it in bags first. And then the other stuff I'm putting into the raised beds just to fill it up, and it'll decompose with soil on top of it. So that is what I'm doing. That's what I started doing this week. And let me think, what else did I do this week? You remember how a couple of weeks ago I showed you guys those journals that I was working on? Or those journals that I purchased? I have been working on the the Way of the Tortoise journal, and I've been doing that for the last 5 days, and just being mindful and writing things down, doing my to-do list, and really focusing on some positivity and that type of stuff. I know that it's interesting to read some of the stuff in this the Way of the Tortoise journal, and some of these positivity journals and mindfulness and all this stuff that I've been doing for years because of my depression. I've had to do these things. So some of and then when it's like writing what you're grateful for, or how today's going to be good because, and I'm writing these positive things. Sometimes when people start these things, they don't know what to write. What am I grateful for? What happened good today? It's hard to have things come to you, but mine is pathetically positive because I have a really good life right now, and I have worked on this stuff for so long that I just keep adding to it. I'm not sure who that was, but that's okay. I know in the door that you can see right here is the office, and Allison's in there. But Erica's gone to bed, and Steve, Tom, and Aurora are somewhere in the house. So, that's something that happened on Friday. Steve got his vaccination for COVID-19, so that makes us all really happy because he has a compromised immune system. So, not that any of us want to get it, and not that none of us are invincible, but it makes it a little bit better that we don't have to worry about him as much anymore. Yeah, it's the reflection of the light on that. I know that it says spring, but it's backwards, so I'll have to, again, take a photo of it and reverse it. It seems to be quite a quiet Sunday, and I don't know where everybody is, but I'll keep rambling because that's what I do. I am sure that I'm on the right direction in my life, and Oh, I heard a really good quote today, but I would have to. I hope I'm back. Oh, that's cool. Let's see if I can do that. Oh, it does. If I press on the little red live in the corner, it tells me how long I've been on for. So that'll tell me when I've been rambling for an hour. Yeah, I heard a really good quote today, and it has to do with being on the right path for your life. And I am trusting that I'm on the right path. I have to trust that I'm on the right path, and that these lives, these rambling hours there's a reason for them. Now that my views have gone down a bit, and I mean, even this one right now, nobody's commenting and it's not very interactive, but I still feel that there's a reason that I need to do these, and the right people will watch them, and people who want to, the right people will get from them what they need, and they'll watch them. So I'm not sure what what to talk about right now when there's nobody even watching, but it's not just about having the viewers interact and having guests, although that is really important to me and I want to have more of that. But it's also about me being Peppertooth or Lisa May or whatever you want to call me, and the Rambling Hour, and putting my positivity out there. One of the questions in the Way of the Tortoise is, how will I help others today? Something like that. And I try to be kind and respectful of people no matter where I go and what I do, but I like to think that my posts on Facebook, obviously my gardening posts might inspire people for their gardens, but I try to put positive things on, and I hope that some of those messages and positive things will inspire others. So that's one way that I like to think that I'm helping others. But also I would like to think that I have some good thoughts on my Rambling Hour that help people out, and that they can take things away from this, but not when I don't know. I used to go out for coffee with people, and we'd have these great conversations, and I felt like I was like, not that I was like some wise old owl or something, but I just felt like I had something to offer and advice on life, or if they wanted my opinion or my way of looking at things. And I just felt that I was like a role model and an influence to a lot of people, and I don't know if I've lost that or not. I know that there's a lot of kids that I've babysat or worked with, and there's a lot of people who in the past have told me they love conversations with me and stuff like that, and I'm just sometimes when I'm like on like a live like this or a Rambling Hour and I don't know what to talk about, I feel like I've lost that ability to be social, and I don't know if I have or not. And maybe it's just COVID that we don't get out enough, or maybe it's me not connecting with my friends enough, and maybe that's a point that I have to, connect with my friends more. But I don't know. I don't even have those deep conversations with people anymore. I think I really miss my friends. I wish that that people would video chat with me, like even my close friends, that we would, talk more, even just on video chat. I talk to my sisters and my mom on video chat, and obviously Steve is in my life and he's, my best friend, but there's other people who I would just love to have conversations with and talk with. And I know it's not too little too late, but there was many years where, because of my depression and things in my life, I didn't put in the effort into my friendships that I should have put, and it's a two-way street. And I know I've talked about this before, but I didn't put in the effort, and that might have impacted why I'm not getting it back now. But yeah, I'm willing to put that out there, because I do. This is a weird thing for me to even admit that I'm lonely or that I need more interaction with friends, because I can be a very antisocial person, and not, it depends when I want to be social and when I don't. But yeah, I do feel like maybe, like I said, maybe it has to do with COVID and not getting out more and everything, and that I am starting to feel lonelier and not socializing. But but video chatting works just as well. Hi, Karen. And I would love to, yeah, video chat with friends. So if that's something that you want to do, message me and we can have a one-on-one video chat. I have water that I'm drinking today. I'm just going to grab my water. It's in my iced tea thing, but it's just water. I just need more water in my diet. I think we all do, but for my stomach being acidy and stuff, I just need to drink some more water. I don't know how many times I can say water. But yeah, I'm really glad that it's spring and that the weather's going to be good. Karen signed on, and I'm not sure if she's still watching, but Karen might be watching right now, and it just reminded me of the garden, and I am excited about spring and getting out in the garden, and I've added some photos of different plants and flowers and everything, and I just walk around every day looking at the garden and seeing what's there, and so it might only be one little tiny like pansy bloom that I find, and I'll take a picture of it. Like I think when everything's in bloom in the summertime and stuff, I don't take it for granted, but you don't go and look closely at, you know, all the blooms because there's so many of them. Whereas when it's just starting out in the spring, you're like, woohoo, one little bloom, and it just means so much. So I've been going out there every day, and then I have a big wildlife pond in the front garden, and I have the stream in the back that I made, and it goes into a smaller pond. And then up in the raised beds, I put like a half whiskey barrel and made that into a little pond or water feature. It's just it's kind of like a little pond. I don't have it. There's nothing circulating the water, but I have plants in it to oxidize and everything else. But so, and where's the other one? No, it's basically those three. And every day I go out and look, and I'm just waiting for frogs or toads and spawn from them, because I'm in this group called Ponds and Puddles, like of UK or something. UK Ponds and Puddles, and it has to do with wildlife ponds and puddles, something. I can't remember the title of it exactly, but it has to do with wildlife ponds and and such. It doesn't have to be a big amount of water, but it's good for all the wildlife. So I make sure that there's a way for them to get out of, you know, even if it's a long stick, I make sure that there's a way for animals and insects to get out of the water. And some dishes I have out are really shallow. You can take like a tray that goes underneath a pot to hold the water. You can take that and put a bunch of gravel in it and then fill it up with water. And it's just somewhere that, and you can keep it clean, but it's for bees and stuff like that who need to have a drink, but they don't need deep water because you don't want them to drown, but they can get in there. So I have ones for butterflies and bees and things like that they can drink out of as well. But it's really important that whatever water feature that you have, that you add something for like a beach or some way for the insects and animals to get out if they get into the water. So yeah, the one in the front is like 5 years old, and I've been waiting for frogs and toads for that long. But I did see 2 frogs in the back garden last summer, so I know that they have and can find their way here. And I know a couple of years ago, at night, when me and Steve were standing in the office, the monitors for the CCTV, we saw a hedgehog drinking at near the beach part of the front wildlife pond. So the wildlife is getting here, and we live next to the train track, so there is a way for wildlife to get from other gardens to our garden. But with the toads and the frogs, so many people are posting in that group about, you know, them getting some and waiting till they could, waiting for, like that I built this pond last year and now I have frog and toad spawn, and it's just, I'm so jealous. But they say that you're not supposed to take it from other ponds and then put it into your own, because it can carry diseases and invasive plants. But I understand the invasive plants because I don't want invasive plants in my ponds. But the thing about carrying diseases, like if a frog hops from a pond to my pond, then won't it be bringing the diseases with it, the same as me getting some spawn from somewhere else? And then there's one lady who wrote about, she found because some frogs and toads will lay their spawn in like puddles. So after a rain, they might lay their spawn in a puddle. But if that puddle starts to dry up, then you know, that's all gonna die anyways. So she found some on a path, and she took it home and put it into a tank, and all the tadpoles now are like have hatched and are going around. Because the other thing about having it in your pond too, even if you do get some, is that there's lots of birds and such that, you know, if you have fish in there, they'll eat it, and birds will eat it. So you can, when you have frog and toad spawn, you can take it out of the pond and put it into another container to take care of it and let it hatch and everything, and then put it back into the pond after it's hatched. I am so tempted though to go to someone else's pond, or like, you know, in the country, and just get some and add it to my pond. I'm so trying to let nature take its course. Just like I fought for a few years with blanket weed, which is like, it's exactly what it sounds like. It blankets the pond, and it's really stringy. And I thought about it, like the fibrous stringiness of it. If we can make stuff out of silk from silkworms, like caterpillars, and we can, you know, use cotton from plants, and we can use wool from sheep and other fur of animals. Why, I wonder if there is something with that fibrous blanket weed that they can make, or if it would just, like, what's the word, degrade too quickly, biodegrade too quickly. But I fought for a few years with my pond to get the balance right, and it's a very clear pond now, and I don't have any blanket weed, and that was awesome when I finally got rid of that. So I know that you know, getting the nature's balance right, and you know, you build it, they will come. That's what they say. But it's and I don't want the frogs and toads here if there's something missing. I've tried to incorporate bushes and plants and stuff around, so they have places to hide, and logs for them to hide under. And especially toads, like, they don't live a lot in the water. They live on land and stuff, but they go to the water to spawn. So Samantha says, we took frog spawn from the back when she was little. They took frog spawn from the backfield and into a fish tank, and it grew. We had lots of tadpoles and froggies. Some of my favorite memories doing that. And so Samantha, you're talking about behind your mom's house. So I should see, I mean, like, I should just do that. I should just go and do it. But all the wildlife things say that, you know, like, let it happen naturally. Let it, even birds who come and drink might have some on their feet, like they carry it to other ponds. Lots of people, and this happened to me in Canada, will have fish in their ponds that they never put there, and you're like, how did this fish even get into my pond? But it can be dropped by a bird, or if the birds have eggs, like fish eggs on their feet and stuff. And I had that happen to me in Canada in my pond, in my fish pond. I had a bunch of goldfish, and they were like 8 or 9 years old, so they were quite big for a goldfish. And goldfish can get quite big, so they, you know, could have got much bigger than that as well. But then there's this little, I never did identify it, but it was a little silver long fish, but it was from some kind of lake or something. So yeah, I mean, Samantha, that just makes me want to go and get some, even just to put it in a tank and see it hatch. But I don't even know if it, like in Middlewich, the temperature and stuff, like if people around here specifically are getting frog spawn already or not. But I guess all I can do is go out and check and see what I can find. Maybe tomorrow I will. And I don't know, but that's what I've been doing this week. So every day I go out and I check all 3 ponds and see if there's anything living around in there. I'd like to get more dragonflies too, and damselflies. And I just imagine that with these ponds, that it would just like, that my garden would be buzzing with like all these different types of things. And I remember a few years ago, over where the raised beds are, and I had all these poppies that some I grew from seed, and some just are growing in the garden from seed from before, and everything else. And I went out at 6 in the morning, and I took some videos too, but the bees just love the poppies, and I've already saw quite a few bees already out. And yeah, I love that nature and that connection, and knowing that you brought that to your garden. If you didn't have those flowers there, the bees wouldn't be there, because there wouldn't be anything for them. And the bird song, that's another thing this week, and maybe more than a week, but I've been really excited about the bird song, hearing the birds singing, and even late into the evening, even when it gets dark, they're still chirping sometimes, and it's really nice to have that back. So that's a nice spring thing. Samantha, what have you done this week? I can't tell who else is watching, but Samantha, I learned something new too on my lives. I don't have to ask people what time it is, because the little up in the corner, there it says live and it's red, so it means that I'm live right now. But if I press on the little live, then it tells me how long I've been live for. So 24 minutes and 43 seconds. So then I'll know when, and I was late today, like 7 or 8 minutes late. So, but what's your favorite thing about spring, and how is the weather where you are, and what are you excited about this spring and summer? The plans, you know, especially if everything goes according to plan with vaccinations and restrictions being lifted a bit. So, you know, we might get back to a little bit of normal. I don't know. I'm really excited to see my Samantha and the kids that I haven't seen in quite a while because of COVID. Danielle, Samantha's youngest, turned 3 yesterday. And yeah, I just miss her. She's so cute. That all of the family I miss, and it's just tough not being able to see people or go out. And this is coming from me, like I said before, somebody who's quite antisocial and good by myself. But I'm, yeah, a year later, I'm starting to miss socializing. So I keep smiling. I have a headache from smiling, which is weird, because but I just, so like I said, I was journaling, and I'm trying to think of the good things in life, and I really do have a really good life, and I am really grateful for what I do have, and I don't want to take that for granted. So it's not about bragging. It's about taking inventory of what you have and appreciating what you have. Oh, what was that thing I heard again? Instead of focusing on the things you don't have, write a list of all the things you do have. And then out of that list, take the ones that mean the most to you. And then there was something else after that, but I can't remember. But I just thought it is about that. There's always going to be things that we want that we don't have, but it's more about, because we always want more. So, oh, what was that the thing? Oh yeah, that's what it was. It was about setting goals and going after the things that you want. So what it said was, instead of focusing on the things you don't have, write a list of all the things you do have, and then from that, take out the ones that mean the most to you, and then think about what you would have done or what you would have been willing to give to get those things in your life if you didn't already have them. So say like a car. I have a car. That means a lot to me. Because it gets me from A to B. Now, I have a really nice car, and I would be okay if it wasn't as nice, as long as it worked. But I'm not being ungrateful. I love my car, but I'm saying, okay, so I have a car. It's on my list of things I have. I'm grateful for it. It matters to me. And then what was the third thing? Okay, if I didn't have that, what would I be willing to sacrifice or do to get that? Well, I'd have to, I would be willing to work at a job, save my money, do whatever I needed to do to have a car, because it's freedom. I don't mind taking public transportation, but I haven't done it where I live here, but I've done it like in cities and in Canada and everything, so I'm not opposed to public transportation. But I remember when I first had Allison, and my car had exhaust leaks, so I wouldn't drive it with her in it. And then so for going to jobs, so I didn't have insurance on it, so going to my job, I would read on the way there, so I would try to use my time productively. But the job that I had, it took me an hour and a half to get there, an hour and a half to get back. And that was a lot of my day, especially with a new baby at home that I would like to have spent time with. So the car is just a freedom thing. And this was only one example. So yeah, so that can be your homework for this week about gratitude and being grateful. Okay, so don't think about what you don't have. Think about what you do have. Even if that's the only thing you do, is make the list of the things that you have in your life. Even things like, I can look around and see that I have plants that I've kept alive in the house. I have gerbils that we love and have kept alive. I have curtains on my windows instead of blankets or sheets that some people use because they don't have curtains. And we live in such a consumer-driven world now that so many people have things that they take for granted, like cushions on the couch, even having a nice couch. But not everybody can afford those things. So we can make fun of the person who has sheets hanging up in their window, but it might not be that they don't care or that they want it to look tacky. it might be that they really can't afford certain things because their money is going to all their bills or to pay for food for their kids' mouths. And yeah, so there's so many things, and I've really tried to be grateful. And then so when I'm focusing on the positive things in my life and the gratitude and everything, I like to think that my positivity, even if I don't like say, hey, I'm happy, I'm positive, you know, it still is exuding from me, and I would like to be open enough that I'm sharing that happiness and positivity in a way that will inspire or help other people, not in a way that's like, ugh, hanging out with Lisa, she's so happy and positive all the time, it's so meh. But yeah, it's like a smile being contagious. And then I've talked about this before, and then I actually heard it again today about, I can't remember how they worded it, but it's like fake it till you make it. So it's like the smiling is contagious, and laughing is good for our soul, and it's good to bring our energy up. So even if it doesn't come naturally, you got to do it. You know, I did that when I was younger. I forced myself to smile. And do you know, it was so much easier than these people who would first people would always tell me to smile. And I'm like, well, I'm not happy. So why would I smile? Like, I'll smile when something's funny or when I'm happy, then I'll smile. But, and other people would just be like, they would just try and give me advice when like I said, I was antisocial. I didn't want to talk to people and everything else. And then I learned quickly that if people were there and I just smiled and, you know, faked the niceness and was like, hi, oh yeah, things are great, okay, then it would defuse the situation, and then it would be over quicker than if I was like, life is miserable and I'm miserable and I'm, you know, I'm an emo. I was never an emo. I didn't wear the dark makeup or anything. But I definitely probably gave the vibe off of being a depressed little shit when I was younger. So, yeah, so I did fake it, but you get back what you give. So I faked it, and I acted nice to people, and I smiled at people, and I pretended everything was great, but it started to change, and I would get that back, and then, so the more positive I was, the more positivity I would get back, and it's made me who I am today. And Samantha, if you're watching it still, I don't know if you've read any of my journals yet, but I know that reading my first journal back, because as I said a few weeks ago, Samantha's reading my journals from the beginning. I've written a journal since I was 6. And for some reason, the first volume, because I've taken pictures of all of them, because they're all handwritten, but I've taken pictures of all of them so that they're on my computer in case anything happens to them. But for some reason, the volume 1 wasn't there, so I had to get it out of the loft and retake pictures of it. And so because I had it on my phone, because that's how I take pictures, well, actually, when I took pictures last time, it was with a camera, but this time it was just with my phone. But it was on my phone, so I read the first journal again, and it's not the most exciting one, but it's all right. But it's only from like when I'm 6 till I'm 13, so it kind of starts getting going at the end. But it's volume 2 where things will be more interesting. But it's still I'm thinking this is a good time in my life to go back and read all my journals again, because I'm such a different person, and I can't believe, I mean, I'm still Lisa, and people will say that I'm still crazy and kooky and you know, but I've done so much growing, like personal growth and spiritual growth and everything else, that it's just crazy how far I've come, and it would be interesting for me to go back and see what I wrote then and how far I've come. I was saying that about the journals too, like doing the Way of the Tortoise this week. It's always good practice, so there's never a time that to not do these things. But years ago, it was on Oprah about the gratitude journal and writing, I think it was 3 to 5 things every night before you go to bed, writing 3 to 5 things that you're grateful for. So I've done some of these techniques years ago and on my path to happiness. So some of it is, to me, old school, but to other people, they haven't even tried to do any of this stuff yet. So, but like I said, there's no, it's not a bad thing. Even if I'm doing the same things that I used to do, I'm still taking inventory and seeing what's good in my life. There was something I was going to say about it though. I don't remember. I lost it. But it's just these journals now will be completely different than the ones from when I was younger. And it'll be interesting to see the contrast. And eventually I will get my journals published. But I'm not sure when that'll be. So it is weird to be doing a rambling hour with not a lot of interaction. And I have already rambled for half of it, but if there's anything that you guys want to talk about, we've talked about a bit of gardening, spring, and stuff, but hang on a second. Okay, so I do have my water, and I am holding my water, but I do also have a can of Dr. Pepper. But it's not my big bottle of pop. I've been drinking this since my workout earlier. I really am trying to reduce my pop intake and increase my water intake. Again, it's all these little... One of the questions on the Way of the Tortoise is your self-development, like every day. What have you done for self-development? And I was like, everything I do, I try to make it for self-development. You know, but drinking water is one of those ones that's a bit more challenging for me. Samantha says she just watched Spring Watch. I love Spring Watch. So that's something here in the UK that it's like a nature show each season. And obviously in Canada and America, it would be a little more like, there's so many rural places that's just life. But here, with so many urban places, it's nice to watch Spring Watch, and they show you different things in the country and what's happening in that season. And yeah, I do like it too. They show you some things on the farm, what's happening, and you know, and they have bird boxes and stuff with cameras in them and just things like that. Samantha said, I really like it, and you learn a lot. Plus, the lambs are so cute. So, is it lambing season right now? Spring? Is that when lambs are born? I can't remember. See, I have watched these things, but I'm not a farmer, and I don't even keep track of that stuff. But it is still interesting for birds. I said that about the bird song, but also the bird feeders are starting to get full again with visitors, and it is nice to have the patio doors in the living room and just you know, just stop in my tracks and watch over at the bird feeders and see the different ones. And then it just totally makes you want to go and grab the like bird identification book and see, oh my god, which one is it that visited? It's like being a little kid. So, I mean, maybe I should encourage the kids to do it as well. I know we did that last year. Me and Aurora were talking about the birds and stuff, but it's really great to have nature back. Not that it went away for the winter, but some of it did, you know, hibernating and just getting through the winter. But now things are back, and it's really exciting to get time outside. Samantha says lambs are being born now, and foxes have cubs that are around a month old now. Yes, it's spring. I'm not going to be having any babies, but the animals can go for it. They can have, you know, I don't know what else is in the garden. I do want to make the what's it called, the hedgehog houses. But they tend to need a nest and everything in the autumn. But that gives me all this time, spring and summer, to get my button gear and make some hedgehog houses for the autumn. I had, when I was in Canada, I was going to put some bat houses up on top of my house. But I didn't, because I moved here. And then when I talked to Steve about it, as much as we want to encourage the bats, and I have, you know, with my ponds, they have lots of little midges and things they can come and eat and everything else, so I'm encouraging the bats that way. But the problem with bats is that once bats live somewhere, they're, what's the word I'm looking for? Like, you can't move them without permission from the wildlife, whatever. So if you have bats living on your property, they are, I don't know what the word is I'm looking for, not enlisted, but they, yeah, so as much as I want to encourage them to be around, and they can live in the trees, and well, they live in small cracks and stuff like that, but like I said, we live near the train tracks, so, and there's lots of trees in different places, so they can come and visit my yard. But I guess I'm not going to encourage them to live here, because then once we have them, they won't be able to stay. And hopefully when me and Steve build the the shed this spring. We want to do the top of the shed. Well, I want the top of the shed to be flat where I can have plants and stuff up there, or even a chair so I can sit and chill or whatever and just be in the sun. But me and Steve want to get bees as well. But like I've said also before, as much as people who want to keep bees, it's very exciting to have honeybees, and you can get honey, and there's great things about that. There's lots of different types of bees and wasps and other pollinators that need homes and our protection and everything else. So we're cutting down those trees on the side. I know I've talked about my shredder and the trees that we're cutting down on the side of the house, and what I'm doing with those logs, because the wood from the trees is too green and new for burning on the fires and stuff. So I'm going to make a nice log pile for wildlife and everything to live in until in a few years, then I can burn those logs. But I need to find a place for that. And then, like I said, with the bees, I'm encouraging different types of bees to live in our garden now, and obviously all the flowers and plants and everything else encourage different pollinators. But eventually me and Steve do want to have some honeybees, even if it's just one colony is good. But we've looked into it a few times in the past, so I'm just waiting till he's ready, because I have enough to do in the garden already and things that I love out there. But as soon as he's ready, we'll get some bees. I'd like to have some chickens too, but I don't want to take on too much, and we don't really have the room right now for chickens, so we'll see how things go. What is new with you guys? What have you done this week? Let me know in the comments what has been your plans. So March is almost over. It's March 21st, and like I said, it's spring now, but April showers bring May flowers. So I guess April 1st, that is April Fool's Day, and then Amy and James's wedding is a year from like April 2nd. That their wedding will be in a year from now, or from April 2nd. And what else is going on in the next few weeks or months? I'm glad that the kids are back at school. That makes it a little bit easier, being at home and getting things done and just having some me time and keeping a schedule. But I need to get my visa done now, because it needs to be in by, is it April 28th? Or no sooner than 28 days before the deadline. So if it's the last day of April, then I need to have it ready to go right away. So I'll let you know how that goes too. I didn't talk to the solicitor, but I talked to the solicitor's like a legal assistant, and she said that we shouldn't have a problem with anything now that we've had them in the past. So I'll fill out the application and we'll submit it. It's a lot of money, again, and I'm grateful. Talking about things that I'm grateful for, I'm grateful that I fell in love with a man who has a very good work ethic, and that he has a business that provides enough for us to have a nice life. But not only that, to pay for 4 visas, because me and the 3 kids, it's expensive enough to have one visa, let alone 4 different visas. And again, it's not bragging, but imagine I fell in love with a man who worked for minimum wage or something. Like, again, I'm not knocking that, but we wouldn't have been able to be together. So I want to thank the universe and thank Steve for working his ass off. Whether I'm here or not, he does that, but I'm glad that he does, because it gives us the life that we have. It enables us to be together and to have our whole family together. So I want to be super grateful for that, and I do not want to take a day of that for granted. That's the other thing, when we were fighting for my visa before, that I was always grateful that some people have to be in separate countries. When you apply for a visa, you're not in the country that you want to go to. You're in your home country when you apply for the visa, and you wait until you get the visa. So me and Steve are really lucky that the whole process, all these years that we were fighting for the visas and everything, that we were able to be together that whole time. So yeah, out of our relationship, so May is going to be 7 years that we were together, but it was only 5 months, like May to October, not even 5 months, that we had to do the long distance thing, and then we've been together since. So that's something that's coming up as well. May 8th is 7 years for us. And there's a few people in my life that have some health issues going on, and some people who need surgery or are going for tests or have found out information regarding their health that isn't necessarily positive, but that's their business. So I'm not going to talk about that, but I'm going to keep them in my thoughts. And even if I don't message them all the time, I hope they know that I am thinking about them and their surgeries and their things that they got to go through. It's not to take away from theirs, but you know, we all have things that we have to go through at different times in our lives and everything. But I was saying to Steve today, because I'm not a worrier. I don't worry very much because it doesn't help the situation. And if anything, negative thoughts attract negative thoughts. So I try to stay positive, and you know, the outcome is going to be the outcome. But because I'm not a worrier, it might seem more insensitive to other people that I am not, like it might look like I'm not concerned about something they're going through or a surgery they're coming up to or such. But it's not that I'm not, and I want everything to go well and everything to be okay, and you know, and them to be healthy and happy and not in pain and all of those things. But making a big deal about it and worrying about it or asking them every day how things are going or how they're feeling and everything else, and in one way it could be nice to ask them how they're feeling, but in another way it's just giving that negative thing more energy and power over our lives. And the thing is that, okay, we have this thing that we need to deal with. We'll deal with it. We'll set up our appointments. We'll deal with this and this and this. But in the meantime, while we're waiting for the appointment or waiting for the surgery or whatever, let's focus on the other things in our lives. And so that's kind of where I'm at, is that you've told me you need this surgery. I understand that. You're waiting for a date for the surgery. And I hope you get it soon and everything works out. But I won't be asking you about it all the time because it's set up. And now it's up to, you know, your surgery date and everything else. And then until then, are you going to bed?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I was late for my live, so it's already 9.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it's okay because I probably need to sleep anyway.
Probably. Okay, good night. I love you.
Hey, love you too. Enjoy the rest of your life.
Thanks. It shouldn't have to be too much longer. Samantha, isn't your show on then if it's 9 o'clock? And yes, you're right. Samantha wrote that. Me and Steve have been married for 3 years. January was 3 years for us being married. January 19th was January 27th was the day that that we had the family and friends and the whole celebration and everything else. So that's the day that we celebrate. Legally, February 23rd is the day that we legally got married. But January 27th, the day after Steve's birthday, is the day that we celebrate. So that's why I say in January it was 3 years for us. And it's an amazing day, and it's been an amazing marriage, and it is crazy that we can be this gushy mushy in love still. We're pathetic. We tell each other we love each other like so many times in a day. We'll phone each other, text each other, and be like, I just called to say I love you. And it's just one of the best things about my life is getting to wake up next to Steve every morning and knowing that no matter how my day goes, I get to sleep beside him at night and be held by him. And it just, like I said, doesn't matter if I had a good day or if I've had a very stressful day. Knowing that I have that at the end of the day makes every day great. See, this is how pathetic we are. It is really sad. And I thought about sharing my journal, like how I was doing the Way of the Tortoise this last week. I thought about, oh, this is really positive. I should share this on Facebook or whatever. And, you know, maybe this will inspire some of my friends. But then I thought, might be too much for them to think that Lisa actually writes all this shit. Like, I'm grateful for this and my life is good and I'm so happy. It'll be like, you know, but it's important. I've been writing it down this week in the I'm grateful for, but at the same time, I think it's a given. I don't know if it's a given. Maybe I do need to write it down every day, even if I write other things after that, but it's for my health and my happiness. And because again, looking around at what you do have, you have nothing if you don't have your health. And we all know this, because think about when you have the flu or other things that you've had to go through. When you're not healthy, nothing else matters. It just is one of the worst things. So yes, I am grateful that I'm healthy. I am grateful that I have the physical ability to work out every day, and that because I want to take my health and my working out seriously, it matters that I'm able to use my physical body to do that. I can use my physical body to clean and to make little displays like this and have my house the way I want it to. And I'm grateful that I healthy, happy. I'm grateful that I'm happy. That wasn't always how my life was. And yes, I do take medication every day. And yes, it makes me, okay, so in this other journal I'm doing, it's a well-being journal. You have 5 stars and it's like your energy level for the day. And now it stays pretty consistent. I've had a few 1 days, but most of my days are 2 stars. And there's a few days that have 3 stars. Now I'd like to increase my energy level, but I don't know how. And I know, like I said, I see that it stays consistent. I get things done that I need to do, but it doesn't matter if I get enough sleep or not enough sleep, or if I'm eating right, everything. It just, my energy levels are not what I want them to be. But at saying that, I still am grateful that I have enough energy and enough ability to get the things done that I need to get done, whether it's the laundry or cooking dinners or being out in the garden and doing things that I want to do, or writing in my journal. Even with the carpal tunnel, even just writing a little bit I miss it so much. I'm so glad that I'm able to write a little bit, and even a little bit a day. It's like reading a book or listening to a book, or like reading a book on your phone. Like there's something about holding a book and reading a book. And now I don't really do it that way anymore because they're heavy, and because of my wrists, I usually read it on my phone. But it's the same thing with writing any way you can, even if you're typing it on a keyboard, is important. But there's just something different about writing it by hand. There's a different energy about it. So I really am glad that I'm doing that again, even if it, like I said, even if it's just a little bit before my hands go numb. I keep doing, okay, I try to be ambidextrous, but so I do a lot with my left hand, and I can write with my left hand, but not, it's legible, but it's not like quick writing. So, but I do try to use my left hand a lot for a lot of things, just in case anything ever happens that I can't use my right hand. So that's just Aurora saying goodnight to Allison now. So, good night, love you. Yeah, so it is almost my time to say goodbye, but I mean, how late was I if it's already 9 o'clock? I have 9 minutes, so it must be 9 o'clock now, or just a few minutes after, I'm not sure. But I'm glad that I discovered that. Sorry, I'm just reading a comment. So what was the, Samantha was watching a show that started at 9 o'clock every night, which my lives went from 8 till 9. So at 9 o'clock she might still watch me moving around, but she would mute me so she could watch her show. She said it's 10-part drama. What was it called, Samantha? Your 10-part drama? But she said it's over now, except she actually does have one more part to watch that she didn't watch because she wasn't feeling good. Yeah. Me and Steve have quite a few things that we want to watch as well. But Line of Duty is a show that's here that we really like. And I can't remember how many seasons there was, if there's 3 or 4 seasons. But the new season starts today. The only thing that's really annoying... Okay, so Samantha said the mini-series was called The Great. The only thing that's annoying about a lot of things here in the UK with TV shows and such, although obviously it's a bit different with COVID because not everything can be filmed right now, but they do like their seasons are 6 episodes. So lots of things are only 6 episodes, and then you have to wait like a year or however long until the next season comes back. Hi, Erin. I hope you're well. I don't remember if I said that I did get your Christmas card, and thank you for the kids' pictures. They were up here, but they're not right at the moment because I was rearranging things for Easter and spring. So I hope everybody's good there. Say hi. Erin is my cousin who's 2 years older than me and 2 years younger than my sister Melody. So she's right in between me and Melody. And we were really close growing up. So actually I was in her wedding as well. And she was in my wedding, my first wedding. She was a bridesmaid. So have I? Erin said I mentioned that already. Okay. Maybe she'll be my guest one of these days if she's not busy. She has 2 kids. They're getting quite big. One of them is the same age as Erica. So let me think about this. Georgia is the same age as Erica, who is 12. And Hunter's a bit older than Georgia. So what? No. No way. Oh my God. It just, because I haven't seen you in so long. So if Georgia's 12, that means like Hunter's like 13 or 14. Is that right? This is insane. Where is the time going? What happened to our little kids? I can't believe this. Wow. Erin had her kids later than she has 2 older sisters, and they had their kids, because they're older, they had their kids before. So Erin had hers later, but she was the one with the little ones, and now they're teenagers, and I know her sister's kids are like adults now. So it's just, I just can't believe how fast time goes. And Erin also has a brother, my cousin Kevin, but he doesn't have any kids. So yeah, life is crazy. And that's what I was saying about before with all my journals. I can't believe I've written a journal since I was 6. And that, like I said, even going back and reading it, it'll be so weird, because it's like, I don't know why I felt that I needed to document everything and keep everything. I mean, talk about a hoarder. I was trying to hoard all my memories, all my experiences. I wanted it all like written down and kept so that I could, like, I have no idea, because I try not to live in the past. I think that's part of the reason that I wanted to write it down, is that once it's written down, I feel like I can let it go. So I try to live in the moment, and sometimes it's nice to review the past to see where we've come, but I try to stay in the moment. That's why you'll see my profile picture on Facebook and stuff. I update it quite often, and I try not to use old pictures of me, because I think it's important to like who we are now. So if you like who you were before, but you don't like who you are now, then you got to ask yourself, what was it before that you liked better, and what do you need to change? Because it's important to like who we are now. So yes. And then there was like photos that I added of the garden yesterday, and Maxine asked if, on one of them, she asked if it was from last year, and I said no, I just took these, like, I added them to Instagram yesterday, and I took the photos yesterday in the garden, because like I said, I try to stay current. Kevin may not have kids, but that's a good thing, as he is a great big child. My kids love spending time with Uncle Minion, the big child. Yes, some people are better as aunties and uncles, and better off not having kids, and that is absolutely true. We don't all need to have kids. We don't. So yeah, if you know somebody who doesn't have kids, don't harass them about, are you going to have kids? When are you going to have kids? When are you going to get married? Some people are better off not doing that, and the world needs all types of people. So let's remember that, if you want to be a parent, and I mean, it's so complicated, because some people want to be parents and they have a hard time becoming parents, and some people don't want to be parents and then they end up with kids, and but everything's to teach us lessons. So, but don't harass somebody about when they're going to have kids. It's like, somebody who doesn't have kids, and you ask them when they're going to have a baby, and then they have a baby, and then you're asking them, when are you you can't just have one, when are you going to have another one? And that's not fair. Just back off. It's not your business. They're gonna ask you, when are you gonna, whatever. So, yeah. I'm not having any more babies. I would have loved, if me and Steve met when we were younger, or with less kids, then me and him would have had kids. It's not that, but we are both the type of people who can love other people's kids just as much as our own. So it doesn't mean I won't have more kids in my life. It just means that biologically I'm not going to have any more. So we have his, we have mine, and we have ours. So they're ours. And then, like, again, my friend Samantha, her kids Tyla and Danielle are really close with us, and I hope to see them more when our restrictions are lifted. And then who knows, the grandbabies will be coming. I said Amy's getting married next year, and then who knows when, if and when I'm not saying that she has to have kids, but I'm pretty sure she wants kids. So, yeah, so I'll always have kids in my life, but I just don't want any more of my own. Samantha says, you are amazing with my girls. Thank you. I know, and like I've said before, besides getting to see Danielle sometimes, since I moved here, is the first time in my life that I haven't had small kids around me. I've been babysitting since I was 13. So, and I have always had lots of cousins, and our family's really close. So I've always been around little kids, and I've always wanted to be a mom. So I know that one of my roles in life is to be around, even not just little kids, but teenagers and everything else. I know that is my calling, is being a role model to young people, including children. And so one day I might have a day home again. They call it something else here. Child minding instead of babysitting, but who knows? I don't know. Like I said, I'm not rushing it, you know, with grandbabies and everything else, but I love having children in my life, and I'm good with being just the good auntie now, or the good grandma when they come, instead of the mom. I love being a mom, but I am glad that I did it all in one chunk, and the kids are growing together, and I can't, some people my age, not knocking them, but I'm only 42, and I know that that's not old, but I cannot imagine, you know, I had 3 kids within 5 years, and my last one was at 29. I cannot imagine doing that now. I cannot imagine starting now. If that happened, then that's what I would do. But I couldn't, yeah, no, I'm tired enough without having little kids, alone if I started again. But, yeah, that is very nice. Thank you, Samantha. She said that Danielle loves spending time with me. And, yeah, so the rambling hour is over, and I don't know about this episode. I don't know what people thought of it or whatever, but I'm doing my job. I'm doing what I'm supposed to be doing, and part of it I know is right now this rambling hour every Sunday. So we change our clocks next Saturday just after midnight, so it's like early Sunday. So when I come back on for my live, it'll be back to regular time for people in Alberta and North America, where you've changed your clocks already. So we'll be back to normal time. So next Sunday, Rambling Hour will be 8 p.m. here in the UK, and it'll be back to 1 p.m. Mountain Standard Time. So wherever you are in Canada, you can go off of a Mountain Standard Time. Just easier that way for me to say, because most of my people are in Alberta, although I have some all over Canada. So go off of Mountain Standard Time, 1 p.m. Mountain Standard Time, and 8 p.m. here next Sunday. We will see you for the Rambling Hour again. Or you can watch it at a later time, you know, like this one. As soon as I'm done and I finish this, it'll be published and people can watch it from the beginning. Or under my videos, there's the old ones. And I have started getting things ready. I am going to be putting these on YouTube so that they're available. And I may, in the future, do it on another platform instead of Facebook Live. I might do something else where I can have more than one guest or something. But until then, I'll be doing Facebook Lives, because most of my friends and family are on Facebook, and this is the way that I'm doing it. So I don't know who I do have somebody that I think will be my guest next week that I've talked to, and we're planning it for next week, but we will see if that all works out. But I'm not going to tell you who it is, just in case it doesn't work out or it switches. So I'm hoping to have a guest next week, and if you want to be my guest, then send me a message and we can make plans. Otherwise, I will see you next Sunday. Have a good week. Write down what you're grateful for. So instead of focusing on what you're not grateful for, instead of focusing on what you don't have, write down a list of everything you do have. Then out of that list, take out the things that mean the most to you, and then think about what you would do and what you would sacrifice to get those things in your life if you didn't already have them. And that is what you need to do to get those other things that you don't have in your life. If you really want them, you'll find a way. All right? I will see you guys. Love you guys, and goodbye. Okay? Next Sunday. Bye.